What if you spent your entire life running from the one thing that could actually set you free? Yourself. We chase degrees, careers, status. We fill our days with noise, tasks, distractions. But in all this chaos, how many of us ever stop long enough to truly look within? How many dare to ask that one fundamental question? Who am I, really? Today, personal development is everywhere. We talk about becoming the best version of ourselves. But how can you become anything if you don't even know who you are to begin with? This isn't another motivational routine. This isn't about boosting your confidence in 3 easy steps. This is something far more powerful, something far more rare. We're going back to the root, to the beginning of all wisdom, to the foundation of every real transformation. What you'll discover in this masterclass: why self-knowledge was, for Socrates, the non-negotiable cornerstone of a worthy life. How knowing yourself isn't about ego, it's about freedom. And most importantly, how to apply this ancient wisdom in a modern world that's loud, fast, and full of noise. New to Socrates? Here's where to start. If you're just now discovering Socrates, or if you want to understand why this one man reshaped the entire course of Western thought, I invite you to check out my previous video, Socrates, The Examined Life. In that masterclass, we dive into who Socrates really was, his unique method of dialogue, the dramatic story of his trial, and why he chose death rather than betraying his mission. Memorable quote? Line. Know thyself. It's not a self-help slogan. It's a call to radical inner courage. If you're searching for meaning, if you're tired of living on autopilot, if you feel that something deeper inside you is waiting to be uncovered, then you're exactly where you need to be. What you're about to hear wasn't taught in school, and yet it's the one thing that could change everything. Stay with me until the end, because what you'll discover here is more than a lesson. It might just be the beginning of your inner revolution. Part 1. Socrates on self-knowledge and inner revolution. We often see quotes floating around on social media like, "Know thyself," or "I know that I know nothing." But how many truly grasp their depth? These aren't just ancient proverbs to read and forget. They're existential wake-up calls, the kind that can completely reshape the way you live. Self-knowledge isn't about collecting facts. It's about facing yourself without filters. For Socrates, knowing yourself has nothing to do with personality tests or online quizzes. It's not about accepting who you are or being your authentic self in a feel-good sense. It's far more radical than that. It means stripping away the ego. It means facing your contradictions in the eye. It means being brutally honest about your illusions, your flaws, your blind spots. And it begins with one disarming question: why do I do what I do? To know yourself is to admit your ignorance. Socrates never claimed to be a guru. He didn't say, "Follow me." He said, "I know that I know nothing." And this wasn't false modesty. It was the foundation of wisdom. Because as long as you think you know, you stop questioning. And when you stop questioning, you stop growing. To Socrates, humility isn't about lowering yourself. It's about standing in front of your own mystery and saying, "I don't fully understand myself, but I'm willing to dig, question, and search, even if it takes a lifetime." Socrates doesn't want to comfort you. He wants to wake you up. Self-knowledge in his eyes is a disruption, a refusal to sleepwalk through life. is not asking if you're nice, productive, or smart. He's asking, is what you believe actually true? Are your choices intentional or just habits on repeat? Are you living from your soul or from fear, routine, or the expectations of others? The soul, your inner territory. When Socrates speaks of the psyche, he's not talking about a religious soul. He means your inner life, your consciousness, your essence, the engine behind your thoughts and choices. If you don't understand your soul, you're living at the surface, chasing desires, reacting to fear, controlled by what others expect. But once you start observing your soul, you begin to take ownership of your life. Why self-knowledge is the root of ethics. For Socrates, everything starts from within. You cannot act justly if you don't know yourself. He went as far as to say, no one does wrong knowingly. In other words, we don't act out of evil. We act out of confusion, out of unconscious drives, out of wounds and conditioning we haven't yet examined. Self-knowledge isn't always pleasant. It's uncomfortable, but it's the only path to inner freedom. A few powerful references. Plato's Apology. The unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates says this before accepting his death sentence. He would rather die than live without truth. Temple of Delphi. Know thyself was carved at the entrance, a timeless reminder. Before trying to understand the world, start by understanding you. Carl Jung, a modern echo of Socratic wisdom. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The idea is the same. Ignore your inner world, and it will shape your outer world without your permission. If this idea resonates with you, and you feel there's more beneath the surface of who you are, then I invite you to take it further with my dedicated video on Carl Jung on understanding your shadow. There, we explore how your unconscious shadow, the parts of you that remain hidden or denied, can silently shape your decisions, emotions, and even your destiny. It's a powerful complement to what Socrates hinted at centuries ago. The greatest danger isn't out there. It's in refusing to face what's within. Closing insight for part 1. Socrates teaches us, true freedom begins the moment you stop lying to yourself. When you become the observer of your beliefs, your fears, and your desires. When you choose honesty over comfort and truth over illusion. And that work, no one can do it for you. Next, part 2, the Socratic Method. So, how do you begin this process? How do you uncover what's hidden inside you? Socrates gave us a powerful tool, not a theory, but a practice. Dialogue, questioning, myetics. That's what we explore next. Part 2, the Socratic Method. Breaking yourself open to find what's real. Why this matters. Socrates wasn't a teacher in the traditional sense. He didn't preach, he didn't give lectures, he didn't claim to have the answers. Instead, he offered something far more powerful. A method of inner transformation. Not a method for solving external problems, but a way to dismantle your assumptions, your ego, your surface identity, so you can begin to uncover what's real beneath the noise. This wasn't about chasing truth. It was about learning to question what you call truth. The core tools of the Socratic Method. Socratic irony. Socrates often pretended to know nothing. He'd play the fool, not to deceive, but to disarm. By acting naive, he encouraged others to speak freely, and reveal the inconsistencies in their thinking. This wasn't manipulation, it was a mirror. Mathetics, the art of midwifery. Socrates saw himself as a kind of midwife. Just as his mother helped women give birth, he helped people give birth to their own understanding. He didn't inject new knowledge. He helped you uncover what was already inside, hidden under layers of assumption. Elenchus, the method of refutation. This was the true engine of his dialogues, a relentless, respectful but sharp questioning, where contradictions were exposed not to shame, but to liberate. By seeing your ideas collapse, you become open to deeper truth. How you can use this today. In a world filled with noise, speed, and shallow affirmations, the Socratic Method is a radical practice of slowing down and going inward. Here's how it helps. Uncover unconscious beliefs. Many of our decisions are shaped by scripts we've never questioned. Socratic dialogue forces those hidden programs to the surface. Challenge inherited values. What do you actually value? And are those values truly yours or borrowed from your family, culture, or peers? Break out of the roles you've been cast in. Good child, ambitious professional, perfect partner. These are roles. The Socratic Method helps you ask, is this me or just a mask I wear to belong? Try this inner exercise. Here are a few questions Socrates would want you to sit with, in stillness or out loud. Why do I want to succeed? What does a meaningful life actually look like for me? Am I living by my values or someone else's? These aren't casual reflections. They're uncomfortable, disruptive, but they hold the keys to real freedom. Philosophical connections. Socrates sparked a lineage of thinkers who took this further. Jiddu Krishnamurti once said, "Truth is a pathless land. You must find your way through direct experience, not by following systems or teachers." Friedrich Nietzsche urged, "Become who you are." A deep echo of Socratic self-examination, but with a call to transform, not just understand. If this idea sparks something in you, you'll want to explore my full video on Nietzsche's radical vision of self-creation. Nietzsche on self-creation. In it, we dive into how to shed outdated versions of yourself, break free from conditioning, and consciously shape a more authentic identity. It's like picking up where Socrates left off, only now the questions burn hotter and the transformation cuts deeper. A challenge for you. Let's bring this into your life right now. Ask yourself, what's one idea I've believed about myself that's quietly holding me back? Take a few minutes, write it down, sit with it, because naming the illusion is the first step to dissolving it, and that is where real inner power begins. Part 3. Why knowing yourself feels uncomfortable but is so liberating. The ideal versus the reality. We often romanticize knowing yourself as some noble, poetic quest. But the truth? It hurts. It's uncomfortable, sometimes even harsh, but absolutely necessary. Because truly knowing yourself means being ready to face what you usually avoid. As Socrates said, it's better to confront a disturbing truth than cling to a comforting illusion. 1. Why it's so hard. Your ego pushes back. Your ego is the image you maintain about yourself. I'm a good person. I know what I'm doing. I'm in control of my life. But when you start digging deeper, this ego feels threatened. It prefers comfortable excuses over uncomfortable truths, glowing stories over brutal honesty, social masks over inner vulnerability. The problem is, as long as you hide behind your ego, you're living beside yourself, not with yourself. 2. Knowing yourself means facing uncomfortable truths. It's about seeing your shadows, the parts of you you deny, reject, or project onto others. Often what you criticize in others is what you refuse to see in yourself. It's admitting your escape routes, perfectionism, distraction, needing others' approval. It's owning your vulnerability. You don't control everything. You're not always consistent. You carry wounds deeper than you want to admit. Knowing yourself is like taking off a mask you forgot you'd been wearing for years. And sometimes what you find underneath is scary. 3. What modern psychology confirms. Socrates' philosophy echoes in the work of today's top psychologists. Carl Jung, enlightenment doesn't come from imagining light figures, but by making the shadow conscious. Shadow work means facing what you hide, not from others, but from yourself. Cognitive dissonance, that uncomfortable feeling when a truth shakes your self-image. Our minds prefer consistency, even if it's false. Brené Brown and Gabor Mate, authenticity isn't a pose, it's the courage to be real. And that courage starts when you stop running from what you feel. 4. Liberation beyond the discomfort. Yes, self-knowledge can hurt, but the beautiful part is what comes after the pain: clarity. You understand why you react the way you do. You see what hurts you. You stop repeating old patterns unconsciously. You become the author of your life, not just an actor in someone else's script. The paradox: the more you accept your inner truth, flaws and all, the freer you become outwardly. A question for you. Here's a real one, the kind that challenges but transforms. What truth about yourself did you have to face that ultimately set you free? Share it in the comments, even if just in one sentence. You never know who you might inspire by simply being honest. If you still think self-knowledge is just an inner journey, wait for what's next. Because Socrates didn't stop at thought. Knowing yourself also means changing how you act, speak, live, and choose. And that's what we'll explore next. Part 4. Putting Socratic wisdom into practice today. 5 concrete habits. Philosophy means nothing if it doesn't change your life. And Socrates wasn't a bookish philosopher. He walked, questioned, challenged. He lived his ideas. So the real question is, how can we live Socratic wisdom today in the 21st century? Here are 5 simple but powerful practices to weave into your daily life so you can embody self-knowledge instead of just talking about it. 1. The Socratic Evening Journal. What did I do today? Why? Did it align with my values? Every night before bed, take 3 to 5 minutes. Not to judge yourself, not to feel guilty, but to mindfully reflect. Ask yourself these 3 questions. What did I do today? What motivated me? Did my actions reflect my true values? This simple ritual brings you back to yourself every day, a modern version of what Socrates called the examination of the soul. Purpose: break free from autopilot and live intentionally. 2. Weekly deep questioning. Socrates believed in the power of deep questions, not quick answers. Each week, pick one core question to explore within yourself, a question that challenges you, opens you, makes you dig deeper. Examples: what am I avoiding in my life? What mask do I wear around others? What do I do out of fear instead of desire? If I stopped lying to myself, what would I need to change? Write about it, talk about it, or just keep it in your mind. But let the question work on you. 3. Daily Socratic moment, silence and solitude. Socrates said truth comes from within, but today we're drowning in noise, notifications, endless scrolling, podcasts, distractions. So here's a radical, simple practice. 10 minutes a day. No screens, no books, no noise. Just you and yourself. Don't try to figure anything out. Don't analyze. Just listen. Let your thoughts and feelings surface. Often, deep insights arise in this silence. 4. Honest dialogue with a friend. Socrates didn't think alone. He thought in dialogue. With friends, students, even opponents. It was through conversation that he revealed himself and others. So choose someone you trust and invite them to a new kind of conversation. Not small talk, not pointless debate, but a real exchange, honest, vulnerable, thoughtful. What don't we dare say out loud? What do we regret? Who do we pretend to be, and who are we really? These talks can be transformative. They remind us that thinking comes alive in relationship. 5. Less knowing, more awareness. We live in an age where we know a lot, but understand very little. We read books, watch videos, consume content endlessly. But Socrates would probably say, read less, reflect more. Take one idea, just one, and meditate on it. No need to read 10 books on Stoicism if you haven't applied a single lesson. Example. Take this phrase, know thyself. Spend an entire week asking yourself, who am I when I'm not playing any role? What am I trying to prove to the world? If I didn't need to appear a certain way, what would be left? This slow, deep, repeated work is far more powerful than stacking up facts. In summary, 5 ways to live like Socrates. Daily Socratic journaling, reconnect with your actions. Weekly questioning, dig beneath the surface. Conscious silence, listen to your inner voice. Honest dialogue, discover yourself through others. Slowing down knowledge, turn information into awareness. Key quote to close. The unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates. And yet, how many of us live without ever stopping, without questioning what we do, believe, or pursue, without ever asking, did I really choose this life? Conclusion. Take back the author's pen of your life. We've reached the end of this journey. But if you've made it this far, I don't believe in coincidence. Maybe this video isn't just another piece of content. Maybe it's a turning point, a moment when something started shifting inside you. You see, true self-knowledge isn't an abstract quest. It's an act of courage. The courage to look yourself squarely in the eye, no filters, no masks, to ask the tough questions, and to dare to stay with the answers even when they're hard. Because deep down, it's not the truth that scares us. It's everything the truth forces us to change. Key takeaways. Socrates wasn't after more knowledge. He was after knowing himself more deeply. He believed the human soul, once examined, would reveal its own truths. He asked simple questions that shake your foundation. And he left us a legacy, self-examination, as a path to freedom. What can you do right now? You have 2 choices. Close this video and carry on as usual. Or start by asking yourself one real question today. Just one, today. What is the one thing inside you you've never dared face? What if that became the starting point for something new? Step into Jung's world. And if, as you dig inside, you start to notice shadows rising to the surface, wounds, fears, instincts, hidden parts of yourself, then it's time to go deeper. I've prepared another masterclass for you. Carl Jung on Understanding Your Shadow. Discover how to embrace what frightens you and how to turn your inner darkness into creative light. The link is in the description. It's the natural next step after this video. Explore Nietzsche's path. And if you want to explore what comes after Socrates, not just knowing yourself, but creating yourself, redefining who you are, inventing your life, then Nietzsche is waiting for you. Check out the video Nietzsche on Self-Creation, a journey toward a life you don't copy, but one you build from scratch. The link's in the description too. If this video spoke to you, tell me in the comments, what's one question you've never dared ask yourself but will face today? Subscribe to the channel to get a new masterclass every week, blending philosophy, psychology, and self-discovery. Like this video if it sparked a moment of clarity or inspiration. And share it with someone you know who's searching for truth. You might literally change their life's direction. Thank you for sticking with me until the end. Thank you for daring to think, to feel, to question yourself. Socrates didn't want followers. He wanted free thinkers. People ready to search for truth on their own. If you're here, then you're one of them. See you soon here on Deep Life Lessons for the next masterclass. Until then, keep digging, questioning, living fully.